An assignment that went really well today in class that I wanted to share with you in my senior business math class on today's ThinkShare. Hello and welcome to the ThinkShare. My name is Zach. Here to bring to what I've been thinking about, sharing about, talking about, listening to, reading about. That this case does belong in math class because I taught it today and I'm excited that I just wanted to share it. It's been a little while since I made a video. I teach a math class that is mostly to seniors. A lot of people, it's probably called consumer math in your school or algebraic applications. What I'm trying to teach my students is how to evaluate the value of a business. So when you see things online like Facebook tried to buy Snapchat for $3 billion back in like 2013, where did they come up with that number? That's like an insane number that seems hard to how did they come up with that? So I think I came up with a pretty good thing. A lot of the students could have really easily answered or completed the assignment without putting much thought into it. And I was really impressed with how a lot of them chose to really run with it and think hard about it. So the assignment was that they were told, they were given a hypothetical situation. They have a magic money machine, sort of like a metaphor for they have a business that they're not really in it for the wonders that it creates for the world, but simply for the cash of it. And they have 1 year's worth of data for how much money that produces on a day-to-day basis. The magic money machine produces somewhere from $0 to $100 every day in increments of 10. I created a Google spreadsheet. I did the random number generator to produce 365 different values, or random values, and then I rounded all of them to tens. At the very end, we summed up the numbers, or some of them used their Google Sheet skills to try to use that data to actually come up with some solutions for, or quantify better than just reading every number. Came out to about $53 per day, or about $18,000 per year. So the challenge was they had to figure out how much they should sell it for. One of the caveats was that they didn't necessarily know how long the machine would work for. They don't know if it could be fixed, and they just know that it has worked for a year. It will likely work for the next year, and that's about all they know. They can probably count on it working for some more time, but there's really a lot of question around that. And the reason that I added that piece to it is because if you are buying a business, I believe it's 20% of businesses fail in their first year, and 50% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. We don't know which percentage that is in. So their goal is to figure out what to sell it for. So some terms that I ended up introducing them today was ROI, return on investment, and break-even point. And most of their sort of guess and check style of learning this today was I was the buyer and they're kind of selling to me, but to get the best opportunity for themselves. A couple of the responses was someone was going to try selling for $365,000, which I said, I'm not going to buy that. And in your head, if you want to say this is the lowest price I'll accept, we looked at what the ROI or the break-even point for that would be, and it would be a very long time. I forget how many years we calculated that would pay off for the buyer. So it's likely that that person would continue keeping their magic money machine till it died. Someone else came up with a two-part answer. So we watched the founder and we watched and thought about the math associated with the deal that was made at the end of the movie. And so they used sort of that model, which was they wanted a percent of, they would only sell it if they could still get a percent of the earnings. So it's sort of like they're hedging their bets. They ended up asking for $500 monthly, which it produced $1,500 monthly the past year. And I think if I'm the buyer, I don't know that I would have said yes to that. I probably would have said yes to a percent because it is a random number rather than 500. And they asked for a big check. And that was kind of what they saw in the founder was McDonald's sold their company for $1 million for each of the founders, and they did a handshake deal on royalties, which did not turn out well for the McDonald's brothers. So the really fun kind of thing was just the back and forth of them thinking about, well, who's getting the deal here? Is it him or is it me? Am I the sucker or is he the sucker? So it was just really fun watching them care about a hypothetical situation and who would get the money. So one of the things I plan to integrate is we found an article that talks about 4 different ways: the book value, the publicly traded comparables, and I'm forgetting the specific words described for the other 2, but one of them was the discounted cash flow, and I forget what the other one was off the top of my head. But those 4 things, we can, now that they have done some of the work to think about how they would sell that, we can now use the scenario that we talked about in this hypothetical situation to illustrate what those 4 different kinds of ways of evaluating a company are. And we're obviously lacking a ton of data for anyone to make a real informed decision on how to sell or how to buy this type of magical money machine investment. But I thought it was a really fun exercise. So if you're a business teacher, if you're a math teacher, and you're trying to help students understand why businesses are bought for certain amounts, what kind of data they might look at to figure out what they would sell or buy it for. If they want to look at ROI, return, cash on cash return, if they wanted to look at their cap rate, which is used a lot in real estate, which is capital annual percentage rate. I'm forgetting the language off the top of my head, but it's really saying like what percent of your initial investment did you earn back that year. And a lot of times people say a good cap rate in real estate is like 8 to 12% or something. Above that is usually unrealistic, and below that is really not a good deal for the buyer. So I thought those were interesting. Some of the terms we weren't really able to get to today, but I thought it was really good, fun, hypothetical situation that they kind of had fun diving into, which they haven't been excited diving into some of these silly things that have kind of come up with recently. But I've just been having fun talking about business, talking about money, and my long-term goal that this lesson is building into is that I want them to understand what the stock market is and how it works. And so I had them understand what the entrepreneurial experience could be like. Obviously, I don't know what it's like to have an IPO or make a business go from founding to making it to the stock market, but I tried to bring them on that inside lane to help them understand what it would be like from that point of view. And then they're going to be investing in shares of each other. And so they're gonna have their own sort of like S&P 500, and to model their the percentages that they're giving out for shares, we're gonna be using Legos as a manipulative, and we're going to be using dollars that I'm going to be training, because I think the stock market is a really cerebral, like conceptual idea that is like it's really people making up values based on some data, but it's still like a reach. It's not, a lot of it's not in reality, it's about what people think things are worth. So I'm using those sort of manipulatives so they can really understand what the stock market is, because I think it's really hard to understand it unless you really study it, or you have I don't know, I feel like this is a way that I can try to teach that. So I'm hoping I'll be as excited as this to update you in the near future on how that goes. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to talk to you guys today, because finally excited about something I'm doing recently. I've had some other ideas I wanted to share, and I just have not been excited enough to make a YouTube video about it. So thank you for watching. If you like this, subscribe. I'm going to be adding more things to Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll probably put this video on there as a free resource. I've been making some fun worksheets that are about TikTok and solving for slope. So if you're interested, I believe I still have it free on the site. I look forward to sharing it with you all. Thank you for watching. If you like this, give it a like. If you dislike this, give it a dislike. Let me know in the comments. If you have better ideas for explaining the stock market / how to evaluate companies, and I'm open to feedback in helping my math students understand real world concepts better. Thank you for watching. Stay weird, humans.